What up, guys? So, you know, as we stay home longer and longer and we do all of the body weight exercises, it can start to get boring or get too easy. So I know a lot of you guys are looking for ways to spice up your workouts, but you're like, but I don't have equipment. What can we do? Well, there's a lot of household items that you can use to make your workouts a little bit more creative and a little bit more fun. So with me, I have two things that I feel like people commonly have. One, either a bag of dog food or a bag of rice. And I think anything between the pounds of 15 to 50 would work, depending on how strong you are. And then I have 2 liters of soda. What would work even better if you need more weights is a gallon of milk each or a gallon of water each. But I only have this, so I will make do with whatever I have. You would just scale the reps according to the weight and how strong you are. So let's get into it. So no matter what, when I train, I always think about building an athlete from the ground up. So I always focus on legs first. So with legs, I would always start off with the most basic back squat. And you would just squat like this, just like how you would with the bar. And if this is too easy or too light for you, and you're already going over like 50 reps per set, you could change it into a front squat, and it'll make it a little bit more difficult. And you can do it just like this, as if you would do it almost like a Zercher and front squat mix. And if that's still easy, you can do lunges, either reverse lunges, front lunges, or even lateral lunges. So those are 4, well actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even jump squats if it's light enough. You don't have a slip disc, so this one's a little bit more dangerous and make sure you have more experience in your training. But you can have jump squats, and that is 7 variations that you can do to train your legs with just a bag of dog food or rice food. Human food. Now that we got legs down, I want to focus on back. So on back, we can start off with what's probably going to be the easiest, is deadlifts. And you just find a grip that you're comfortable with and pull as so. And you can also even do deficit deadlifts if you want, if that's too easy. And find an actual deficit. And you can go lower and get that nice stretch. Or you can do stiff legs and take a lot of the legs out of it and make it more of a hip hinge movement. And those would be good exercises for your posterior chain. For your actual lats, back and upper back, you can go with a bent over row. If that's too easy, do 10 lay rows, so off the ground. And you can even add a plyometric component to it, depending on how much you care about the dog food or your rice. Because if you have rice and you're actually planning on eating it, I don't know if your parents or your family are gonna be cool with you beating the shit out of the rice, but it's worth it for the gains. You can do a plyometric pull. So it's a very explosive movement. And last but not least, if all of those are too easy, you can go with a simple, this is actually a Chinese row, because the Chinese weightlifting team does this all the time. But instead of holding onto a bench, you use your body as support so that you can frame up all of your joints. Because when they're doing like snatches and clean and jerks and stuff, they want to make sure that their whole body is one strong kinetic chain. So you'd grab your hand like this, and you would do a row just like this. So now, what you were lifting with 2 hands, you're requiring with 1 hand, and it becomes that much more difficult. And those are all the movements you can use for your back. Next up, we got shoulders. You can start off with the more traditional overhead press, where it's in front of your body. Another variation is behind the neck. And this is one of my favorites because it hits your traps in your upper back a lot. You could also do front raises. And keep in mind, you really want to stabilize your glutes and your core so you avoid doing a swing and you're really focusing on your shoulders. And that's the point with a lot of these exercises, since they're not dumbbells, they're not barbells. They're harder to control because it's a malleable item. So it's that much more important to tighten your core, your glutes, and to really focus on just the muscles that you're building. And if that's too easy, you can always go to one hand still. So this bag of dog food is 90 pounds. So you can just tell how strong I really am. These are all ways that you can work out your shoulder. Oh, a lot of people like to do raises up to their eye level, but also another way to make workouts even harder is increasing the range of motion. So just like when you're doing deficit deadlifts, it's harder because the range of motion is much more. You can go all the way up, then all the way back down. And you'll feel your delts go up to your traps, go up to your upper back, and maybe even hold it, come all the way back down. And just like the other video, where if you really want to focus on time under tension, aka hypertrophy with your muscles, you can always work on the negatives. So you can come up fast, and then you can slowly bring it down on all the movements that we've discussed so far. We just finished a bunch of shoulder workouts with a bag of dog food or rice. Now we have 2 drinks, which are much more similar to dumbbells, and there's a lot more shoulder variations that we can do. We can do front raises, we can do side raises, we could even do complexes, where it's side and front combinations. There's a lot more exercises that we can do. We can do Arnold press. And keep in mind, because this grip is way different, whereas the bag, you're having a close, tight grip, almost like grabbing onto like a gi in jiu-jitsu. This one, it's almost using like a fat grip on a barbell. So you will feel your forearms a lot more, and you'll actually work out your grip strength a lot more. So what's kind of cool is as you find different household items to build your strength off of, the variations are actually a good thing because it's more applicable. We're not always gonna have a perfect quarter, like an inch and a quarter size pipe when we lift things. You know, like how many times have you like squatted 300 or 400 pounds and you're like, oh, I'm so strong. And when you go pick up your drunk buddy who's only $170, you're like, whoa, why is this guy so heavy? Because he's not a perfect pipe. So I think it's actually good to switch it up and try all kinds of different things. And with 2 independent drinks, there's a lot more things you can do. You could do the double bicep. And then as you're doing it, you can drink it, and so it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. It's almost like a drop set, you know? So in the beginning, you might only be able to do like 10 reps, but as you go faster and faster and you drink up more and more, you might be able to end up with like 50 reps. And if you're using soda, to make sure it doesn't go to waste, I would purposely put it out on the kitchen counter and then hide around the wall and watch them open it and then create an awesome mess. Because, you know, we're all in quarantine, we're all really bored, and you probably already cleaned the kitchen 20 times, and this will be another good reason why you have to clean the kitchen. So you can also do biceps, and all dumbbell variations apply. You can do hammer curls, or you can do palms facing up, or you can do supinated curls. And you can do single, you can do double, you can do triceps, dumbbells, skull crushers. And if you want to focus on more isolation movements, you can get on the ground. And you can do flies. This is actually one of my favorite variation of flies because a lot of times you want to get that really good stretch in the chest. And when you're on a bench, there's nothing stopping your elbows. So sometimes when you get too carried away or if you're too intense or your range of motion is too big, you might feel a little pull. But here it's actually really safe. So if this is your first time ever doing flies, this is actually a good way to do it because your elbows are gonna stop you once it touches the floor. But instead of resting at the bottom to keep time under tension, as soon as it touches the floor, you wanna come back up. And so these are just some of the basics that you can do. There's actually a multitude of different types of variations to really enhance your athletic ability. So if you wanna do overhead press lunges, or even one on one side to really work on balance. Even though this looks stupid as hell, these are actual real exercises that you can do. Or even snatches, or even just holding it and doing trunk twists to work on your core. Like there's a lot of things that you can do, add them together, create a circuit, create a complex, create a combination, especially as it gets light like this, like something that's pretty simple that I like to do and hits bis and tris is curl to an Arnold press. And if you want to make that even more difficult, you can curl to an Arnold press to reverse lunge and come back up. So once again, we are in a quarantine, and a lot of you guys who are intermediate to advanced lifters might go, wait, that's just a bag of dog food or some Coke bottles. I'm not gonna get a real workout out of it, but that's not the point. The point is, none of us have access to a gym right now, but that's not a good reason why we should stop getting after our fitness goals. These are some suggestions and solutions that we can use so that we can still push ourselves and train hard given the current circumstance. So a lot of these things, because they're so light, you don't want to do any reps under 10. And I think ideally for most people, probably reps in the 20 to 40 range are going to be good. And you want to combine maybe 2, 3, 4 exercises together and try to hit 50 reps total or 100 reps total per workout, per exercise. Keep in mind, guys, we are still in quarantine. So a lot of you guys that are actually really strong might go, oh, this is kind of silly. It's just dog food or Coke. But that's not the point. The point is, none of us really have access to the gym right now. And those of us that do, you guys are super blessed. But 99% of the world, this is all we have. We just got drinks, we got household items, we maybe have a chair, we maybe have a cinder block, and we gotta make do with what we have. We're still trying to dominate humbly, we're still trying to push ourselves, and we still wanna make the best of what we got in 2020. This is the way to do it. So I'm a firm believer, don't let the circumstances limit your possibilities. Get creative, and you can put a lot of things together and still hit some good goals. And if you push yourself and get after it, you can make these workouts really, really difficult. So when you're coming up with these circuits, I think number one, you want to get creative and have fun, right? Because if they're not enjoyable or you don't see how it could benefit whatever you're doing, like for me, because I'm into boxing, kickboxing, and jiu-jitsu, I love doing a lot of like twisting motions to work on the hips. I like explosive hips. I like shoulder strength because I want to get better at whatever I'm doing. So if you're a swimmer, if you're a basketball player, or whatever you do outside of lifting, try to get creative and find ways to make you better at whatever you are doing. But keep in mind, since these things are so light, anything under 10 reps is probably not a good rep range. I would keep things at 20, and you don't want to get things too high up there too, because it's just harder to keep track of. The last thing you want to do is be like 37, 39, 55. Oh, I lost track, you know? So for me, I like doing things up to 10, maybe up to 15. And if I want to add more volume, I'll have way more sets. It's easier for me to count 10 sets of 10 than it is to count 2 sets of 25. So let's get into it. All right, so the circuit that I'm putting together, avoiding push-ups and sit-ups because that's all I've been doing. I feel like a lot of us have a really good understanding of push-ups, and from a basic push-up all the way to maybe a clap push-up or how to make them really hard. Same thing with sit-ups or any type of leg lifts and core exercise. So what I really want to attack are the other lacking body parts that aren't so easy to complete with just body weight and the floor. So what I have going on here is I'm going to do a kettlebell swing for 10 reps. Then I will go into a front squat, into a thruster for 10 reps, and that will hit my quads and my shoulder press. And then I will do bent over rows, probably a Pendlay row, so I get better range of motion and better contraction for 10 reps. And then we'll go into a shoulder complex right here, hit my upper back and my front delts for 10 reps. And I will be doing this for 10 sets. So by the end of this exercise, I want to hit 100 kettlebell swings, 100 thrusters, 100 bent over rows, and 100 rear delts, and also 100 front raises. So believe me, if you do these correctly and you go at a good pace, this will be a hard workout. And this is something that will push you. This will something that will make you stronger. And this will be something that will improve your cardio. It's actually a good enough workout that you should keep doing after we get out of the quarantine. Go back to the barbell, go back to the dumbbell, and repeat those. These are work exercises. Like thrusters is one of the best exercises for you, and we don't even do them that often to begin with unless you're a CrossFitter, but it's one of the best full body workouts that you can do. So consider this a really good primer to getting your body into moving this way. All right, guys, so really push yourself with this workout. I just finished, and you can tell I'm a little bit winded. And not only that, my shoulders are pumped, my quads are pumped, my back's pumped, and even my glutes are pumped. Like all circuits, it's really important to push yourself. If this is your first time, if you can get it between 15 to 30 minutes, preferably under 20 minutes, you're doing a really good job. And if you can get it under 10 minutes, your cardio, your muscle, and your strength endurance is really, really good. And remember guys, we don't have an access to the gym right now, so don't let that be an excuse why you're not getting after it. I think we all have fitness goals and we all have goals in 2020, and whatever we're all facing right now, it's just a little obstacle. If we keep training our ass off at home, we'll for sure get over it. When we get back in the gym, we'll be that much more ready to dominate humbly. And also, our off-duty slides just dropped on the website. Go to barbellbrigade.com to get your off-duty slides. Super comfy. They come in a really, really cool box, and they float on water, and they're form-fitted, so make sure you go check that out, barbellbrigade.com. See you guys next time. Bye.